recorded via Zoom and will be available afterwards through a link in the San Francisco Public Works website at sfpublicworks.org. I'm going to begin recording. Oh, it's already being recorded. Sorry for that. As this is a virtual hearing, there is no sign-in sheet. So if you would like to receive information about the results of this hearing, please send an email to the email address listed on the hearing notice. If you do not have that with you, you may contact Berhane Gaim at berhane.gaime@sfdpw.org, or you can contact BSM Permit Division at bsmpermitdivision@sfdpw.org. I'm going to share the agenda. I guess it's already being shared, and you can also see the contact there. This public hearing is being held to consider one item, order number 203573, a request from the property owner of 645 Baker Street for a minor sidewalk encroachment permit to legalize 2 existing trash enclosures along Baker Street and McAllister Street, fronting the subject property at 645 Baker Street on block number 1177, lot number 001. My job as a hearing officer is to gather the facts from the hearing item, listen to your testimonies, and help our Director of Public Works make determinations. I will not be making any decisions today. Instead, I will forward the findings from this hearing and make any recommendations to the Director. The Director will make the final determinations. When the Director's determinations are made, the department will notify you of them if you have provided your contact information. The hearing will proceed as follows for the one case. I will ask Public Works staff to speak first and present their case. Then I will allow either the property owner, the applicant, or the appellant to speak. Then any member of the public or witness who wants to speak. Then the department, if the department would like to address any comments. And then the property owner, applicant, or appellant again, if the person has any rebuttals. Each speaker will have up to 3 minutes to speak. The clerk will monitor the time for all speakers and will indicate when the speaker has 30 seconds left. If you are a party to this proceeding, I will call on you to speak. If you would like to use visual materials in your presentation, please let us know beforehand before you speak. You will then have the standard 3 minutes to provide your comments. If you are a member of the public or witness who wants to speak, wait for me to call for public comments and then use the Zoom's raise your hand feature to put yourself in queue to speak. If you have dialed in by phone, you can raise your hand by pressing the *9. And then when you are being told you are unmuted, you can press *6 to unmute yourself before speaking. When it is your turn to speak, I will recognize you. If you would like to use, again, visual materials, just let us know ahead of time. Comments and questions should be addressed to me and not to the department or the applicant. If you cannot finish your comments within the allotted time, you may submit written testimony to me by the end of this hearing. If you feel that a question is warranted, I will ask the question. After all comments are completed, I will close the items. We will now begin the hearing. Order number 203571. May I have Public Works make their presentation?
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Berhane, and I am with Public Works, BSM, Bureau of Street Use and Mapping, and I'm the plan checker and will be presenting this project that was submitted to our office. Of course, this hearing is to present the minor sidewalk encroachment permit for 645 Baker Street project. This hearing is for a minor sidewalk encroachment to legalize two existing trash bin enclosures along Baker and McAllister Street. Typically, when minor sidewalk encroachment for such thing comes, It first have to be reviewed by public information officer, which is they go out and assess the location to make sure that there is no absolutely right place to put it inside the property. So our office received an assessment from public information officer that for us to consider this trash bin enclosures because there was no garage or no storage receptacle inside the property. Application submitted, and then we process it, the permit, and as usual, it needs to make sure that it meets all the requirements by the department, which is under the minor sidewalk encroachment. And we went ahead, and as part of the permit process, the project was, we sent notification to the public. Because of COVID, what happened is typically we have a 10-day period for people to appeal the project. In this case, because our office was closed, the project was approved, and then we received that an appeal was submitted, and unfortunately, because of the office, the letters were sent back to the senders. So later on, this project was put on hold, and we notified the owner that the project was on hold. So, sort to start all over again to make sure that everybody have a fair chance, and we started this hearing. Like I said, these are two enclosures on two street frontages, and I do have some site plan to show, if I can share them. Clinton, can I share? Okay, let me see if I can share.
Go ahead.
Okay. I can't not share. Okay. Okay. For some reason, I cannot share.
Jackie, do you have to unshare your agenda?
Well, I will unshare.
Okay.
One second, Brahani.
Sure. All right, thank you. So, okay, this is what the site looks like. We have two trash enclosures that are existing, one on McAllister and one on Baker Street.
1 second, Brahani. We're not seeing the screen yet.
Oh, sorry. Can you see it now? No.
No, and you should be able to share it under either one of your logins.
Okay,
You're,
let me share.
here we
Okay.
go.
All right, there you go.
All
Okay,
right.
thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
so this is what the site looks like. We have Baker Street, which is about 22 feet sidewalk, and we have McAllister, which is 15 feet sidewalk. So these are the existing conditions. And based on this, we went ahead and looked at the whether the sidewalk encroachment is within the code, and it does, as far as the area is concerned, or the depth of the sidewalk does comply. And this is another site. And recently, just yesterday, we received a revised diagram from the owner, and this is what the new diagram looks like. And I have this one, and this is the second one, and there's the one, and this is just an additional, a different view of the plan. So that's what we have. And like I said, of course, this was approved and then and put on hold. And the concern of the citizens are that the enclosure were neglected and they're neglected. The doors are not secured. Full of the garbage is full and we're not taken care of. Even with the business not there, the garbage continues to be mess. And those are some of the concerns that the citizens have. And of course, the enclosures are an invitation for rats, was the complaint we got from the citizens. And of course, after that, we scheduled and we're here. Thank you.
Okay. If that is it, I guess if there's anyone that would like to comment on this item, you can raise your hand using Zoom's raise your hand feature. Or if you're doing this by phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *9. And then once you are able to speak, if you're by phone, you can press *6 to unmute yourself. If there are any comments or questions, please raise your hand. It looks like there are two.
Jackie, I'm going to go ahead and let Howard, or you want, I'm going to let Howard speak first, and then we'll go next with Frank, and then followed by David. So I'm going to let Howard Cohn speak. Go ahead, Howard.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. So I appreciate you guys rescheduling this. We were definitely one of the ones that had sent letters and had them sent back due to the office closure. So I do want for record to read the letter that I wrote. So it's hello Barhani, I received your letter regarding permitting of 645 and 647 Baker Street. I live at 1817 McAllister Street, which is directly next door to the garbage enclosure used for the restaurant. With that said, I am not against the restaurant opening. The situation with the garbage enclosure has been a complete nightmare for our building, 1815 and 1817 McAllister. Since they put it in, there has been complete neglect of the enclosure. Even with no business, there continues to be a mess. The doors are not secure. It is full of garbage, which is not taken care of. City Pest Control came out and said it is constructed very poorly. The building owners have taken zero responsibility to maintain a clean space for their immediate neighbors. Our building, 1815, 1817, has spent nearly $6,000 rat-proofing our home due to neglect that has occurred from the trash from 645 and 647 Baker. Again, the enclosure is currently there and not maintained at all. I'm completely against this, and they have proven that their disregard for their immediate neighbors. So that's the letter that I'd put together. And even if you guys, come out today, you could see that the property in the front and on the sides are completely not maintained in a clean manner. I think at one point there was possibly somebody living in the garbage enclosures. You could see that rats have eaten it away. So one of the things, since the restaurant has been gone, I think that there has been a decrease in the rat population. But one of the things that, and I don't know if this is the same thing, but the restaurant was cleaning their garbage cans and pouring the food wastewater out onto the street, which was, pure, food protein for the rats. So our big concern is, again, cleanliness, and is at this point they're not showing at all that they're going to maintain this.
Okay. I think, is that it, or?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I think you understand the gist of what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I'm not against it, but they're not showing it. They're continuing to not show respect for the neighborhood by, keeping it a mess as it is, let alone with having the garbage permitted. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Next, I'm going to have Frank. Go ahead, and I will allow you to speak and lower your hand. Go ahead, Frank.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
We can
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, I live at 1815 McAllister Street, which is in the same building as Howard, who just spoke. And I'm on the bottom floor. So everything that Howard just said, I would reflect in the same manner. I'm aware of everything that he's just mentioned, to be certain. And really all I would do is sort of add to the fact that, you know, I have even more of a dog in the fight being on the first floor here. I actually measured the distance from my living room, literally my living room, to the trash enclosures is 25 feet. So I really feel like for me, even under the best circumstances, you know, I mean, if we give the benefit of the doubt that the restaurant is going to keep everything clean and it's going to be tight and all that, which I highly doubt, you know, I mean, I understand how restaurants work and they have the people taking care of these things and it's just going to trail off eventually. But even under the best of circumstances, you know, there's going to be compost in there. There's going to be trash, and I can literally smell it from my apartment. If the air is still, and God forbid I want to open my window, it's the conditions there. I'm really just smelling compost. Beyond that, walking out my front door and just walking to the corner where, you know, everybody in the community on the block is walking past that enclosure just as part of their daily comings and goings. So, you know, we've lived with that for a long period of time, and really don't. It's been a nice relief that it hasn't been active for a little while now. We don't want to really get back into that situation. So, you know, I had also sent a letter to you guys when they first mentioned the idea of granting the permit. And a lot of it says the same things as kind of what Howard was talking about our close proximity, a personal burden on a daily basis. We did live through a very horrible rat infestation. And a lot of the times the compost and the recycling and all that, I mean, literally, I mean, that stuff is kind of wet and bacteria ridden waste. And it, you know, undeniably, it would one of the bags would break open and really be like drippings of some of this compost and, like, you know, chicken waste and that draining into the street. And I really don't think that a restaurant's dirty little secret, which is usually kept in the back alley or something, is appropriate to be on the sidewalk, again, 25 feet away from my living room. So that's kind of my stake, and I will be living with that pretty much in aware of its existence on a daily basis. So that's my take on the enclosure.
Okay. And next is David.
David.
Yep. Go ahead, David.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
All right. So hello, I'm one of the owners of the new restaurant that took over recently. It's going to be called Automat. We have absolutely nothing to do with the previous owners. First of all, I just wanted to apologize. I fully understand and sympathize with everything you guys were going through. When we moved in there had been an enormous rat infestation that evidenced an incredible amount of neglect from the previous restaurant that was there, Green Chili Kitchen. They had just, I mean, I'm horrified. I have a couple other restaurants, and I've never seen a space that was that neglected. I think they had their hoods not working for months or years. There was rats in every wall. And to share, you know, your experience, we had to go in there, and we haven't really done construction because of the pandemic and everything, but we've already spent something like $60,000 just cleaning up after the rats, including in all of the walls. It was a huge problem. And I'm sure that they had the same kind of neglect for those trash enclosures. You guys mentioned that the problem, that there's been not a problem so much lately. It's not only because there's not an operating restaurant, it's because we did clean them up. However, those structures, we consider those completely temporary. We are going to completely rip those out and rebuild both of the enclosures. The one on McAllister Street is ours, and the one on Baker Street is for the rest of the building. However, we are going to rebuild that as well, just so the two match and are both fully modern and up to date and fully sealed, because we don't want any of those kinds of issues. The purpose of those enclosures, I want to say, is specifically because of the incredible historical character of the building and the neighborhood. Because of that historical building, there is a kind of a railroad style kitchen and then wraparound windows on both the McAllister and Baker sides. Because of those windows, there's nowhere to put a trash enclosure like indoors, and there is no back alley. We would love to do that. However, there isn't any place like that. It would be unsanitary to put them anywhere inside, and that's why those enclosures are on the outside. We're going to keep those as minimal as possible. In fact, they're going to be smaller than the existing ones, and they're going to be sealed and fully maintained. My primary restaurant is called Lazy Bear. It's in the Mission. It's a 2 Michelin star restaurant. It is maintained in absolutely the most spick and span state that any restaurant is anywhere. And we fully intend, my partner Matt and I, he was a sous chef at Lazy Bear. We're opening this place. It's a first-class restaurant, and everything is going to be pristine, and we're going to maintain it that way. I also want to let you know that we'll fully make ourselves available to you to share any of your concerns, and we'll address them immediately. But this is going to not be anything like Green Chili Kitchen was. This is going to be, brand new and absolutely pristine. The structures and the way we run it.
Okay. Looks like we have somebody else that would like to speak.
We have Tatiana. Go ahead, Tatiana.
I think
Tatiana,
asking her to mute.
Go ahead, Tatiana. There you go.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Good morning. So, David addressed most what I wanted to say. So basically, with the previous restaurant, Green Chili, we as owners had a lot of problems regarding the cleanliness and regarding the, the keeping trash enclosures clean. And also, there was a rat infestation not only in our building. It was actually like basically the whole neighborhood. The rats were crossing the street all over the place. And our manager, Julie Aviles, she actually she went to the health department. She engaged their help. She organized the tenants and the neighbors. And we spent like thousands and thousands of dollars on the rat problem, and I think we beat it, because now in our building there are no rats. I hope the neighbors also experience the same, and we of course intend to keep it this way. And I do believe that Automat, the new restaurant that has an incredible reputation, and it's actually, it was even praised as one of the 20 most anticipated restaurants in the nation in the Vogue journal this year. It will keep it clean and beautiful like they do their other location. So, and the other thing, both Frank and Howard, they know Julie's, our manager's contact information. And whenever you have any problems, just contact her, because when you did in the past, she immediately reacted to this. And for example, a couple of months ago, the enclosure was broken in again, the empty one. And Frank sent Julie email, and she immediately contacted David, and it was fixed. So, you know, we just need to communicate if the problem arises, because we live in the city, and there are homeless people who would break in the enclosures, unfortunately, and go through the trash. But we're trying to keep an eye on it and always, you know, fix it as soon as the problem arises. So this is all I have to say. Thank you.
It looks like
we have another hand up
yeah.
with Julia, or Julie. And go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, hi. I'm Julia Villas with Laurel Properties. I'm Tatiana's property manager. Just to reiterate what she was talking about, we work with the health department. It was Nader Shatara. He met with us, and letters were sent out to the neighbors because there was a huge rat infestation. And out of all the properties that the letters were sent, there were only 2 people that responded to it. There was rat infestation all along McAllister, evidence of rats. But to, perseverance and everything with Tatiana and the pest control and all the other people involved, it seemed to be running beautifully now. So I just wanted to put my 2 cents in there. That's it.
Do we have anybody else? Do you have anybody else that has their hand raised? I know we had a couple call in. We had some additional call in folks. So if you want to speak and you're just dialing in, it's *9 and then *6 to unmute. Give them a few minutes here. Jackie,
Yep, they raised their hand.
There they are. Okay.
If they can speak.
Yep, the caller, let's see, ending last digit 876. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I live across the street on Baker. And first of all, I'd like to say I own the building right across the street, and I never received any notification about rats. And the other thing I'd like to say is that on Baker Street, there is a constant pile of trash on the sidewalk. They put their trash out on garbage day. The homeless go through it. They strew it from one side of the sidewalk to the other. And it sits there. I put a note into the SFDPW about it on street cleaning. I've put about probably over 100 messages in for street cleaning. And eventually someone does come and pick it all up. It takes him a long time. He gets his shovel out. He has to go from one end to the other. So quite frankly, this building has been a nuisance. And I don't completely blame it on the restaurant. I blame it on the fact that the garbage containers aren't large enough for all the garbage that's accumulated in the people who live in 645 and 647. Those are the tenants. I've also heard rumors that the tenants were suing the owners for the rat problem. So anyway, I just wanted to put my 2 cents in and say this building has been a nuisance. There's currently graffiti on the walls facing my building. So I hope that the new restaurant can put a better complexion on this building, but I also think the owners need to take more responsibility. Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you. We have Tatiana and David both, but they've both entered their comment.
Okay.
Do you want to go ahead and let them speak again?
Yeah, that's fine. I think we can let them speak again.
All right, I'm going to go ahead with David.
Yep.
Hello. Once again, just wanted to express sympathy about what the restaurant that was there in the past allowed to happen. There was no graffiti on the building yesterday when I was there, but I understand that it happens from time to time. The trash similarly at other restaurants, and obviously all of us probably experience this from time to time at our homes. It sometimes gets gone through by homeless people or even animals and gets strewn about. What I can assure you is that once we have a restaurant open there, that will be immediately taken care of. We are planning to be open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So come morning time, we will be cleaning up the street outside of our business every day. So that will no longer be an issue. And any issues that may have been the case with the cans not being large enough or the enclosure not being large enough, we are changing the design, and we will manage to fit the appropriate size of cans in a smaller enclosure now. So I think that those issues are going to be pretty well addressed. But I am sorry about what's happened in the past.
Thank you, David. I'll let Tatiana, and then we're going to have Howard speak one more time. Go ahead, Tatiana.
Yes, hello. I just wanted to answer the last comment, not David, but before him, go from the neighbor. And yes, I completely understand, of course, your frustration, and this is our frustration too, because unfortunately, it's not our tenant. It's just that people bring trash into this corner. And our tenants also tell me that, you know, someone puts trash all the time under our trees. And I don't know how city can address maybe this, because we have trash enclosures and our tenants bring their trash into the bins, and then the ecology has the key for the enclosure. And it is never on the sidewalk until Recology comes. Recology comes, opens the enclosure, takes the trash and puts the trash bins back. So on our side, there is no trash can sitting on the sidewalk until the enclosure opened by the Recology and put it back. So I hope, and again, as David mentioned, the height of the new enclosure will be a little taller, so we can fit larger cans, and there will be even more room for tenants to put their trash in. But we have no control of people breaking into enclosure to go through our garbage, or of people putting trash on the sidewalk, unfortunately. And this corner somehow seems attractive for this. So if city has any suggestions how to help this, we will, you know, we will be really happy if this can be, you know, handled with your help. Thank you.
Thank you, Tatiana. Now we'll have David or Howard. Go ahead.
Hey, thanks for letting me speak one more time. David, I really appreciate your comments about the cleanliness. Again, I don't think, you know, I'll speak for myself, but I'm pretty sure Frank the same way. We're not anti-business. We're not can't be more excited to have a, you know, a beautiful restaurant next door. Again, it's the cleanliness thing, and you know, I don't know if David, if you could even comment on this, but I think again, one of the biggest problems with the restaurant next door, and you know, and I also want to say, Tatiana, I think you kind of need to take some responsibility for letting a restaurant get that out of hand as well in your building. But they were cleaning their waste garbage cans and then just dumping it down the street, so it would run all the way up and down McAllister Street, completely, you know, giving protein and food waste for, you know, these, you know, animals to live on, leaving the garbage cans open. I mean, one of the things I just want to say this because it's like, it's kind of burned in my head, but they were leaving live animal traps, like those sticky ones. And you'd come out in the morning, like walking down the street, seeing these poor, like I don't want to kill, like I don't like rats, but it's like I'm not like a killer, like I don't like, but they're like these like little things just stuck all morning, and it's just a horrible experience. And Tatiana, I do want to say the corner of your building is the messiest in the neighborhood. It's not, I don't think it's been swept in 8, 9, 10 months. So there is some responsibility that needs to be taken from you as well, and not just saying, I'm sorry that I mean, you rented the green chili. So that's kind of all I got to say. David, again, I appreciate your comments, and I do believe you when you say you're going to keep it clean. But, you know, we've lived through kind of a nightmare, you know, during this whole experience. So thank you again.
Okay. Thank you, Howard. Guess, David, I'll allow you to speak. Not sure if this is working. I'm pushing. Okay.
Okay. All right. Hello. Yeah. Again, so we've already all we've really done so far is we've spent an enormous amount of time and money just rat proofing the building. And there was a lot to go through. And I don't know when the last time you ate at Green Chili Kitchen was before it closed, but I mean, you could smell as soon as you walked in there that there was a rat problem. And now it's lovely in there. The last time we saw a rat was in 2019, literally. I mean, we signed our lease at the very end of November 2019. Kind of got derailed because of the pandemic, but we immediately set to taking care of the problem. And literally there have not been any rats since 2019, and there won't be any because we have absolutely rat-proofed that place. And I fully understand that it's been kind of the neighborhood kind of collaborating on it and banding together to get rid of this problem, which is awesome. And I also understand the issues created by the prospect of like food waste being strewn around the street and how that creates food and an attraction for rats. And so we definitely want to address that in the best possible way. So we'll be really sensitive to that when setting out our procedures and figure something out for that.
And we have Frank.
Hey guys, yeah, I just wanted to make one last comment, and thank you, David. It's really great to hear from you and talk about your plans, and I do see from your track record with your other restaurant, everything does look beautiful and clean and tidy, and we really appreciate that moving forward. That is a nice light at the end of the tunnel as we invite you guys in the neighborhood here, and we are excited about that as well. I think the whole idea, well, from my perspective, you know, I think we put the actual rat idea hopefully to bed in general. And I just wanted to reiterate once again, for me, it's really just a sanitary nature, period, of having a restaurant food waste, again, 25 feet away from my living room. That's the big issue for me. I think, and I hope that we can all agree that we put hopefully the rat issue behind us entirely, but still just by nature of the restaurant waste being that close to my living space, that's just my concern. I just wanted to reiterate that once again, and just mention that was my true concern. It does seem like, according to your experience, that you can do that in a tidy way, perhaps. But again, I just wanted to kind of mention just that as my main thought process. But I also wanted to thank you for saying your piece and mentioning how you're going to move forward. And also, I wanted to mention to Julie from the property management that I have worked with her in the past. And she has always been extremely responsive and worked with me and taken care of anything in the past that I've had issue with in particular. So her relationship and my relationship together has been a positive one. So I just also wanted to note that.
Okay. So I think that's it. I don't see any more comments. Again, if you would like to comment on anything on this item, you can raise your hand using the Zoom's raise your hand feature. And if you dialed in by phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *9. But if there's no more comments for this item, I will now close the item and I will make my recommendations to the director after. So, okay, I'll give it maybe 10 seconds. Okay, again, are there any other public comments on this item? And if not, I will close this hearing. Okay, the hearing is now closed.